It's another storytelling time with Naya. Today, we would be sharing lots of prizes to those who can guess the answer correctly in the comment section. Please, don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Tales of the Sun, Journey of Solara, Chapter 3. The horizon stretched out before Solara, the vast golden expanse of the desert of Oflolos meeting the endless sky. Her heart beat with the rhythm of the land, as though she had become one with the earth beneath her feet. She was no longer just a wanderer in this ancient desert, but a beacon of something much greater, something that had been awakening within her ever since the first touch of the sun's rays had kissed her skin that fateful morning. Solara paused for a moment, kneeling to touch the sands. They were warm, but the heat was not the harsh, punishing heat of the desert. It was gentle, like a lover's caress. A ripple of warmth passed through her fingertips, and for the briefest of moments, she could feel the pulse of the desert, its ancient heartbeat, alive and eternal. The desert was not empty, as most believed. It was full of life, waiting to be understood. She closed her eyes and remembered the words of the elder, Solara, who had sent her on this journey. The sun is not just a source of light, Solara. It is the lifeblood of our world. But its power, its true power, lies not in the sky, but within those who are willing to listen.
You must find the sunstone, child, for it is the key to awakening the full power of the sun. Only then can you fulfill your destiny.
The sunstone. Solara had heard the legends as a child, tales whispered by the elders around campfires, of a crystal that could harness the sun's power, said to have been lost to time. The story spoke of an ancient civilization that had once controlled the sun's energy, but when they grew greedy, the sunstone was hidden away, and the sun's might was sealed. Now, only a few knew of its existence, and Solara had entrusted Solara with the mission to find it. She stood up and continued on her journey, her mind focused on the path ahead. The desert was not kind to the unprepared, and she had learned quickly that each step she took brought with it new challenges. Sandstorms, illusions, and creatures that seemed born of the very sun itself tested her resolve. But she pressed on. As the day wore on, the sun climbed higher in the sky, its golden rays intensifying. She could feel the heat, the power of the sun building, as though it were calling to her. She had to move quickly. Time was running out. Just as the sun began its descent, casting long shadows over the dunes, Solara came upon something unexpected. A stone structure, half buried in the sand. The remnants of an ancient temple, its once proud walls now worn by the passage of time. Symbols, unlike any she had seen before, were etched into the stone, a language older than the desert itself. Solara knelt down, brushing the sand away from the entrance. She could sense something in the air, a change, an energy that seemed to hum just beneath the surface of the stone. This was it. She had found the place spoken of in the legends, the Temple of the Sunstone. With a deep breath, Solara stepped forward. As her foot crossed the threshold, the ground beneath her trembled, and a brilliant light flashed from within the temple, blinding her momentarily. When her vision cleared, she found herself standing before a large chamber, the walls covered in glowing symbols that pulsed with the rhythm of the sun itself. In the center of the room stood an altar, and upon it lay the sunstone, radiating with the power of the sun, a crystal of pure light, its energy both beautiful and overwhelming. Solara took a step forward, her heart pounding in her chest. The stone felt alive, humming with an ancient energy, and she knew that this moment would change everything. But as her fingers neared the sunstone, a voice echoed through the chamber, low, ancient, and filled with warning. "You are not ready." Solara froze, her hand hovering just above the crystal. The voice came again, this time clearer, more insistent. "The sunstone is not a gift to be taken lightly. You must prove your worth, child of the sun, or the consequences will be dire." Her heart raced. Who was speaking? And what did it mean by prove your worth? Before she could react, the floor beneath her feet shifted, and the room began to darken. Shadows stretched across the walls, twisting and contorting into shapes that seemed to move on their own. The voice spoke again, this time with a sense of finality. The trial has begun. The ground cracked open before her, and from the depths of the earth rose an entity cloaked in shadow, a being of darkness, born from the very sun that gave life to all. It was the sun's shadow, a creature of forgotten time, bound to protect the sunstone from those unworthy. Solara took a step back, her hand instinctively reaching for her sword. She had no choice but to face this trial, but the weight of the sunstone's power pressed heavily on her, threatening to overwhelm her senses. The being advanced, its form shifting like smoke, its eyes glowing with the faint, burning light of the sun. The trial had begun, and Solara's journey had just entered a new, more dangerous phase. Would she be able to overcome the darkness and claim the sunstone, or would she fall to the very shadow that had long protected it? The answer lay in the strength of her spirit, and in the fire that burned within her heart. Don't forget to answer the question in the comment section below to win awesome prizes. Also, subscribe, like and share.